tried or they've been unsuccessful in some way. But still, all of those groups think that they are native. And it's always like, even though I'm doing it now, I'm like, wow, it's a really powerful experience to see like all of these names out there. Because I think most people can recognize, a handful of tribe names like Cherokee, Navajo, Chippewa, Blackfoot. But there are all these other ones that are out there that are still native tribes that people don't know about. And one of the greatest things about this is people tweeting like, oh, I read Fry Bread and I saw my tribe name. And so people are treating this as like, this really special moment, and they're posting these pictures of their finger pointing to their tribe name. And a lot of it, like, even though like I was the one, this is Juana's idea and she hand wrote every single one of these names, but I was the one that came up with this list. And it took forever. I had like 4 research assistants to help me out. We called a lot of the tribes to make sure that we had the right name for them, because some tribes have really complicated names. And I was like, okay, your name is really complicated, but what do you call yourselves? And that's what we're going to put in here. Because it can be like the Eastern Band of the something something tribes of the Eastern District of something something state and state. So I was like, no one walks around calling themselves the Eastern Band of something, something, something. So I was like, what's your short name? So we put their short names in here. So there are about 1,000 names that are in here. And to my knowledge and experience, there's never been a list like this that's been put together. But it affords all of these readers a way that they can feel seen in these books. Because like you can grow up as a Native kid, and the only books that you have about you are about dead people, right? Thanksgiving, Pocahontas, Sacagawea, Squanto, people like that. But nothing about kids, in a choir, or, choosing their sneakers for the first time, or how they get along with their siblings. So I wanted something that was contemporary, that was about people that were alive today, that Native kids could identify with, and then also non-Native kids could see that this is a story about persistence, about we are still here, that people have not died. And so I was writing like an essay about Fry Bread, and so I was typing in some tribe names. And if you type in the name of any Indian tribe, right? Pomo, Piscataway, right? Potawatomi. The Google populated, people also search for questions that pop up are all in the past tense, right? Where did the Cherokees live? What did these people eat? And so it's amazing because if those are the questions that people are writing in, because you can look at Google Trends and then that's kind of what people are thinking on their mind, because they don't have to ask anybody else, so they can ask like embarrassing questions. And so all of the questions that people are asking are about where did these people go? Why are they not here with us anymore? And there was a study that was shown that 43% of Americans think that Native Americans died a long time ago and that they're not here on the planet with us today. And so this is a way of saying no one has gone anywhere. I want non-Native people to learn from this. And I think that the impressions that people get about Native people, they largely gain them in elementary school, right? Because where do they learn about Native people? When they're doing the Thanksgiving unit in this very month that we're in right now, right? It's Native American Heritage Month. But there are 11 other months out of the year that Native people live in. There are all 50 states, all different types of social, economic environments. The majority of Native people live in urban areas. It's 78% live in big cities, right? Not necessarily on reservations or rural areas. So like if you want to really go where all of the Native people are, it's probably going to be New York City because that has the highest population of any Native people in America, right? So if you're wanting to go and study contemporary Native American life, you might as well start in Queens or Brooklyn, right? Not like some reservation out there, which is equally, obviously, where Native people live, but it's not the only story. So it's a really kind of complicated, diverse, heterogeneous population, and it's not a one-size-fits-all, and I wanted people to see the complications of that, and to be able to have this initial experience with Native people in elementary school, where the people were alive, where we could see how they all have different faces. So Juana was really nice, and we had like a secret collaboration going on when we were making the book, and we weren't sure if our editor was like, don't talk to each other, but we did anyway. So she was like, I want to see pictures of your family. Send me pictures of clothes, of jewelry, of what people's houses look like. And she wanted to make it an urban scene. And so she put my son in here. He doesn't really look like this, but he kind of looks like this. He definitely wears blue glasses. She put one of my cousins in there. She put my baby in here, which is baby on the cover. She put a version of my partner, who's Asian, and kind of little in here, and she made her different version. So this is a page where it's fry bread is color. And so it's talking about all the different colors of fry bread. It's golden brown, it's tan, it's yellow, deep, like coffee, sienna, or cream. And then you can also see those different colors in the faces of the children. And so what I wanted to do was kind of have like all these different stories going on at the same time. And my editor, Connie, knows that I'm a law professor, so I'm a researcher. So there's a lot of back matter in this book, like a lot of back matter. And so I think I probably spent more time on the back matter than I did the manuscript of the book. And so I include my recipe. It's probably giving these old ladies in my family the vapors, because they're like, oh Lord, my recipe's not out there in the world, right? And so, but each page has an explanation, a background of what that page says. So there's like, fry bread is history, fry bread is nation, fry bread is family and community. And so it goes on for 8 pages, and there are footnotes, and there are other resources. And so I treated this like I was getting tenure. And I spent as much time on this, more time than I did the manuscript, but as much time as I did for some of my academic articles as a law professor. And so this is a way of introducing people to Native people, to contemporary Native people, but it's also a love letter for these old ladies in my family. Just like how older women teach us stuff, and a lot of times they're not recognized, and especially Native women aren't really recognized. No, I'm getting into it. But so this is a way of saying, thanks to all of our grandmas and to the other people in our family. And this is it today. So do you guys have any questions for me?